Namaste, children. Welcome back to social science class. Children, we were studying about the freedom struggle. The first and second part we have learned, and the third is the freedom movement. We have already learned the policies of exploitation implemented by the British in the second half of 19th century paved way for the budding of nationalism. So nationalism, the feeling of nationalism started in the people. A newly educated class who got English education understood the real motives of British administrations. Here, farmers, tribals, and all other classes, those who were ill treated by the British, were waiting for a stern uprising against the British. So that leaded for the growth of nationalism. Children, as we all know that India is a land of diverse cultures. It has a long cultural and historical heritage. These laid an ideological foundation for the growth of nationalism in the second half of 19th century. And what is nationalism, children? Nationalism is nothing but it is the germination of the feeling that we are one. Entire nation is one. That feeling we should get, that is the nationalism is the germination of the feeling we are one in the minds of the people of a distinct geographical area. And the lack of proper coordination among the Indians in the 1857, that is, we have already learned the first war of Indian independence, that resulted in a failure. Why? Because there was no proper coordination among the Indians, and this enabled the conscious Indians to get organized together. Many of the like-minded people, they came together. Gradually it turned into a national movement. Various factors that inspired the growth of nationalism are as follows. You can see here what are the factors that inspired the growth of nationalism. The first is the introduction of Western education and modern science. The second is uniform administrative system. The third is the economic exploitation, and the fourth, realization of heritage. So fifth, the social and religious movements, and the sixth is the inspiration of first war of independence, and the last is the racial discrimination. All these things, whatever you are seeing on the board here, all these factors resulted or inspired the growth of nationalism. So let us know about the first, about the introduction of western Western education and modern science. Okay, children, you can see here the introduction of Western education and modern science. By reading thought-provoking works of Europe, Indians who were educated in English, they understood the national political tendencies. So, as I have already told you, by reading the introduction of Western education, that is, after they got the Western education, thought provoking works of Europe, the Indians who were educated in English, they understood these national political tendencies, the concepts like liberty, equality, and also fraternity, which took birth in Europe, politically motivated the educated class and instilled a desire for freedom in them. They felt, yes, we also should get the freedom. The educated people disapproved the British calculation. Indians who have learnt English will stay in support. That is why the British, they had that calculation only because they wanted some people from India who have educated in English. So they started this Western education. But the whatever they had, that calculation went wrong, because Indians who had, they started to know about all the things which are going on throughout the world. So the second one is the uniform administrative system uniform administrative system, children. The British brought India under uniform administrative system, that is throughout India a single administration. As a result of it, Indians who were confined to uniform rules, they felt that they were equal. Likewise, in one united voice, all Indians, they opposed various acts and laws which were implemented by the British, which were annoying the people. The many laws and acts we have already learnt in the previous lessons, children. Those they wanted to oppose all these things which were troubling the people. This led to the growth of nationalistic consciousness among the Indians. The next comes the economic exploitation. Children, here, though their economic policies, these Britishers, as you have learnt already, through their economic policies, the British remained responsible for the decline of trade, agriculture, and industries in India, because they were only in the interest of their profit. They were not interested in the any of the thing for the our people, that is the Indians. So, and they wanted to their commercial crops to be grown, so they converted land into a commodity. Hence, Dadabhai Nauroji, you can see here, Dadabhai Nauroji, he exposed the way British were looting the wealth of India through his drain of wealth theory. And next comes the realization of heritage. Foreign scholars like Sir William Jones, you can see Sir William Jones and H.T. Colebrook and Max Muller, Cunningham, many other people, through their study, enabled Indians to know about the historical and cultural heritage of India, because these foreign scholars, they study, they have written many of as you have learnt in the sixth standard about these people's great works. So with this through their study, it enabled Indians to know about the historical and cultural heritage of India. Thereby, it was confirmed to the Indians that the heritage of India was in no way inferior to that of Rome or Greek or any other things, but thus the roots of nationalism in the form of knowledge entered into the deeper layers. Next comes the social and religious movements, children. We have learnt about this also in the previous lesson, social reformers of India. So social reformers of 19th century, as you all know, as you know that Ishwar Rajaram Mohan Roy, here you can see, and the Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Swami Vivekananda, and many others, they advocated the importance of education to the deprived and exploited communities of India. While Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he sowed the ideology of Swarajya and Swadeshi. That is, Swarajya is our own countries, and Swadeshi, our own country things. These ideologies Swami Dayananda Saraswati sowed. Vivekananda awoke the stagnant society, and this brought a new perspective for the growth of nationalism. This made the learned people more creative. Hence, this also paved the way for the growth of nationalism. The next is the inspiration of the first war of independence. That also we have already learned, children. Let me tell you about that. This first war of independence event enabled the Indians to be politically better organized. So in addition, fearless crusaders like you can see here Mangal Pandey, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Hazrat Begum, Hazrat Mahal, and many others. Already we have learnt about them. They all became martyrs of the war, and they set themselves as everlasting inspirations for the next generation of leaders. And then about the racial discrimination, let me tell you, children, the British believed that they were supreme and considered Indians as the most uncivilized people. So all the higher posts, as we all know that these Britishers, they gave all the higher posts in the administrations only for the British people, and only lower posts were given to the Indians. This naturally created unanimity among the Indians, unanimity among the Indians who were exploited by these rules and policies alike. All Indians, in one voice, they opposed the cruel laws and doctrines which were inhuman. Thus, these factors led to the growth of a national consciousness which was called unity. So togetherness started. So each one of them, they said, throughout India we are all one. The other people, they are coming and ruling us. All these made people and the ill-treated yeah, the Britishers who were ill-treating our people, all these things made our people to for the growth of nationalism. So the next point we can say is we can take Indian National Congress, children. Indian National Congress was established in 1885. Indian National Congress. It is also called INC, children. Indian National Congress. It was established, or it was started in the year 1885. And you can see here Alan Octavian Hume. Children, Indian National Congress was established by a retired British civil servant Alan Octavian Hume, or is also called as A.O. Hume. And this INC was established in the year 1885 in Mumbai. Umesh Chandra Banerjee was the first president of this Congress. There were 72 members in the first convention of the Congress. Most of them were lawyers, journalists, and upper class people. In fact, it was the first political platform that boosted the national movement. Let me tell you about the objectives of the Indian National Congress. What were the objectives, children? The objectives of INC was to bring together and build a strong bonding between the political activists of different parts of the nation, and also to establish national unity, to formulate public opinion by placing the demands of the people before the government, to generate nationalism in place of provincialism. Were the objectives of the Indian National Congress. So, in the next class, let us learn about the age of moderates. Thank you, children.